Hi all, this is Michael Beasley with Steward and Grow Real Estate, and this video is the second video in a 5-part series entitled 5 Principles for the Passive Investor. Now if you like this content, just let us know by hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel, and if you really get a lot out of this, consider sharing it with a friend. We'd really appreciate that. In the last video we talked about the first principle, which is retaining a long-term perspective. Today we're going to take a deeper look into what that means as we learn about the investment snowball. Alright, so let's start. How do investments snowball? Now if you remember from our last video, we alluded to the snowball in the context of how a real estate portfolio pays the investor. We said that a real estate investment provides returns in 4 ways: cash flow, equity growth, tax sheltering, and debt paydown. Okay, those are the 4 ways that you make money as a real estate investor. In this video, we're going to take a deeper look into each one of those features and see how each one can be leveraged in a long-term strategy. When I first heard about how these 4 features are used to create long-term tax-free wealth, I was hooked. That's why I picked real estate, and I have yet to find another asset class that has the same scalability and simplicity as commercial multifamily. Okay, let's start with the first one. The first one's simple. It's cash flow. It's the easiest metric to understand. Simply put, cash flow is just the money that's left over after you've covered all your operating expenses and your debt. So if an investment produces, let's say, $100,000 in gross income each year, the debt service and the operating expenses, let's say they cost $70,000, the investor receives a positive cash flow of $30,000 at the end of the year. So when we talk about cash on cash return, this is what we're talking about. It's simple, basic, most everyone understands it. This is how much you make, you subtract your expenses and debt, and what you're left is the cash flow. However, this is the most elementary lens through which to look at an investment. There are 3 other primary and arguably more meaningful ways that real estate provides returns for the investor. And so the second way is equity growth. Equity growth is where real lasting wealth is built. It refers to the amount of ownership that an investor has in the deal. So if an investor puts down 30%, a down payment of 30% into a $10 million deal, he owns 30% of that investment. That's the equity that he has. But here's where the real leverage is found. Since commercial multifamily is valued by the net operating income, or NOI. NOI is gross income minus operating expenses before you've paid your debt. So as you increase your NOI, the value of your property increases because commercial multifamily is valued by net operating income. So if you increase NOI by 20% through renovation, optimizing your management, you can force appreciation and subsequently force your equity growth in the property if you execute a sound business plan. So that's forced appreciation, but you couple forced appreciation, which is what you do to the property, with market appreciation, assuming the deal is located in a growth market with lots of demand, you can do really well in this business. That's how it snowballs. So we've talked about cash flow, we've talked about equity growth. Now we're going to talk about some of the less obvious ways that real estate pays the investor. And again, these are some of the most valuable, most meaningful ways that you make money in real estate. The third way that you make money in real estate is through tax sheltering. Now let me start. I'm not a tax professional. I've never been a tax professional. I have no plans of becoming a tax professional, okay? Those conversations need to be had with your tax advisor. I'm just sharing my own knowledge and experience. So with that, let's look at some of the benefits of real estate as it pertains to your taxes. There are 2 primary ways that real estate provides a return for investors. The first way is through depreciation. Depreciation is the government's way of giving real estate investors a tax break on the parts of an investment which deteriorate or fall apart over time. Here's how it works. An architect or a civil engineer is hired by you or your accountant. They conduct what's called a cost segregation study. They look at all of the components in the property. They look at the roof, the lighting fixtures, the flooring, the windows, the cabinets, and on and on and on and on and on. All these different items. They compile a list of these items and assign a number of years that each item takes to lose value. So if the components of a building lose a certain amount of value over 27.5 years, you don't have to pay taxes on the amount of value that is lost through depreciation. But here's the real benefit of depreciation. You don't have to wait 27.5 years to fully realize the tax benefit. Through accelerated depreciation, investors can take full advantage of the benefit during year 1 of the investment. This is especially significant when you plan to renovate and optimize operations and increase the income and the value of the property. Depreciation shelters much, if not all, of that passive income and equity growth from taxes, producing a tax-free, wealth-building asset which appreciates over time. That's the beauty of real estate. That's why it works so beautifully. So that's depreciation. That's the first main tax benefit. The second main tax benefit is a tax exemption called a 1031 exchange. This is a tax exemption which allows investors to sell a property and pay zero in capital gains tax as long as they trade into another more valuable asset. The reason the government does this is because they want to incentivize investors to own real estate. Real estate investors provide a service for the citizens, they stimulate the economy, and investors can realistically continue trading up for years and years and years and grow their equity and their cash flow through depreciation and 1031 exchanges and never pay taxes. And here's the kicker. When you die and you pass the portfolio to your kids, they don't have to pay that accumulated tax bill because the tax basis resets at death. The tax bill gets completely wiped away. And if they sell the day that you die, they don't have to pay any capital gains taxes at all. That's why this is a long-term wealth building strategy and you don't have to pay taxes on it. And I'm going to throw in one last tax benefit because it's one of the primary levers that we use in real estate, and it's called the cash out refinance. We'll go deeper into that in the next video when we talk about the multifamily business model, but let's just start with this. Once you've built up some significant equity through your business plan, you can go to a lender and pull out some of that equity through a cash out refinance, or you can add a supplemental loan to the property. This allows you to harvest some of that equity tax-free. And the reason you don't have to pay taxes on it is because it's a loan, and you never have to pay taxes on a loan. So you have the benefit of cash on hand, and you can recycle that into the next deal, and you didn't have to pay any taxes on it, and you still maintain control of the asset, while other people, the residents, are paying down the debt on it. And that's the fourth way that real estate pays the investor: debt pay down. As the first three levers are working hard, you have cash flow, you have equity that's growing, and these are all being tax sheltered through depreciation and 1031 exchanges when you sell. All these things are working together as the asset is being paid down by the residents who are living there. And assuming you've gotten long-term fixed rate debt on the property, every dollar of principal that's paid down by the residents equals a more meaningful dollar in equity. Since inflation's on the rise, rental rates and real estate appreciates over time, the longer you hold the asset, the more cash flow and equity grow, and then depreciation and 1031 exchanges shield you from taxes, and the debt's being paid down by the residents. That's the investment snowball. That's how it works. You buy a property, you're increasing your NOI, you're protecting that NOI growth and equity growth from taxes, you're using a cash out refinance or a 1031 exchange to harvest that equity, invest into the next deal, and you repeat the process over and over and over, and you compound that over years and years and years. That's a brief snapshot of what makes real estate such a powerful investment vehicle. Now multiply all of those different factors by 10, 20 years, and in a real way, you can increase your income and wealth can grow, and you can pay very little in taxes. And it's not breaking any rules. The tax code is designed to incentivize this. The government wants us to do these things because it provides a valuable service to the community. And this is why the wealthiest individuals and companies in the world invest in real estate. Primarily because of all of these features that are available to them, but not just to the wealthiest, they're available to you and to me. So this wraps up our discussion about how investments snowball. In the next video, we're going to take a deeper look into understanding the multifamily business model and how to effectively use all these features to build a long-lasting multifamily real estate portfolio. I hope you've learned something today. If you want to learn more, visit our website at stewardandgrow.com to learn more about who we are, what we do, and until then, go faithfully steward and grow all that's been entrusted to you. God bless. Take care.